All right. Hello, good morning or afternoon, whenever you're watching this video. Biology kiddos. So for today, for Wednesday, I'm out because I'm out for training, but I do expect y'all to do this work. So the work that I assigned for y'all is the Bistro paper. It's front and back for you, but in my page, I have two separate pages. So you'll be doing this assignment. I will explain a little bit about what you're gonna do in this assignment in just a little bit. But before I do that, I want to refresh your brains on cell transport. So last week on Wednesday, or the day that we had before the 2 snow days, so last week on Wednesday, we talked about homeostasis and molecular transport. So homeostasis, remember, it refers to the balance or equilibrium within the cell or body. So because we are looking at cells, we're specifically talking about homeostasis in the cell, but it can also happen throughout the body. So remember, we talked about fever, how if you have high fever, it raises your body temperature, so you tend to sweat to cool your body down, right? That would be an example of a homeostasis negative feedback loop. And you'll find out what that is as you do this assignment that I'm giving y'all today. So our body wants to make sure that we have that constant internal environment, and it's always making those changes, right? In and out, in and out. So things are constantly moving in and out of the cell. Things are constantly, we're excreting things like sweat, we're intaking things, right? Like when you get cold, you have goosebumps, you want to trap that heat, things like that. So homeostasis is very essential, and it goes along with our cell membrane transport. So we're looking at our cell membrane. Remember, it's semi-permeable, so meaning that only certain molecules can come in and out, so due to size, and also something called polarity or charge, right? So I talked about how water has charges. So cell membranes, it's a phospholipid and it's a bilayer. So that means it has both hydrophilic and hydrophobic layers. So hydrophilic means that it likes water, so it likes charges, it likes the polarity. It can interact with positive or negative charges. So it can interact with the outside and internal environments. That's what these red heads are for the hydrophilic head. And hydrophobic means that it doesn't like water, right? It doesn't like charges. It doesn't like any of that. So if I had a negative charge, right, like a salt ion, so Na has a positive charge, right, salt. So when you split that up in water, it has charges, so it doesn't like interacting with those charges. So it cannot pass. So if I had a salt molecule, it would not be able to pass through the membrane because these hydrophilic layers hate it. Hydrophilic layers hate it. So that means that the cell membrane has its own transport. So there's different types of transport. Not only is it just this bilayer, but there's other things included on there. So we should know the function of our cell membrane. It's a protective barrier, right? Controls what things comes in and out, helps things get transported in. It keeps our cells together. It's a binding site. So they all work together to maintain that homeostasis in the cell and in just in your body in general, because us as people, we're made up of cells, right? So making sure that we keep that balance and equilibrium. So now are these proteins. So what do these proteins do? Well, these proteins help facilitate, so that means they help do. So they help facilitate transport along the cell. So we talked about vesicles, that would be one example of a transport, but proteins help and they can also pass through the cell membrane. So today you're going to be learning about the two different types of transport. First type of transport is called active transport, and that is movement across the cell membrane using energy, using ATP. And then you have passive movement across the cell membrane without using energy. So one has to do with using energy, one has to do without. So it's giving that extra effort versus like having it become easy. So you'll learn about these different types of transport. So there's 3 different types for passive. So this is the without energy, osmosis, diffusion, facilitated diffusion. The 2 that you will be learning about today is diffusion and facilitated diffusion. Osmosis, we will learn together as a class when you come back, or when I come back. So about those, and then active, the one that uses movement across the membrane with energy. You have endocytosis and exocytosis. So these are the vesicles that we talked about. That actually has to do, you actually use energy in order to do that, you know, intaking molecules, taking out molecules. And your protein pump. So all the proteins that we saw on our cell membrane here and in here, they all do something, but most of all, protein pumps, they help intake and outtake certain molecules. So you use that energy. So you'll be learning about this today and differentiating that. So in your Bistro assignment, what you're gonna do is go back to the agenda and then open up this Google document. So for number 2, using the transport Bistro station Google document, you'll click on this and open it up. So when you click on that, it will take you to this menu choice board. So it looks like a restaurant menu, right? So you have something called breakfast, you have lunch, and you have dinner. So you have 2 options for breakfast, 2 options for lunch, and just 1 option for dinner. So you can decide on how you're going to learn this information. So whether or not you want to click on the waffle, so you'll be reading stuff, or if you want to watch a video to help you answer this document. So the document that I gave you yesterday, the Bistro, the cell transport Bistro, right? The front and back page, the page with front and back. So you have breakfast on the front, and on the back of your page, you have lunch. So you'll be filling up the homeostasis part, and then dinner. So it's pretty self-explanatory, especially if you read this menu, it will help you go through each. And then what you're going to do once you're done with that, so you can work in groups, but this is an individual assignment. So you have to turn this in order for you to get a grade for this. And this is also for your notes. So you will be keeping this, but you'll take a picture front and back and turn that into me on Echo. So here are the instructions. If you need anything, email me if you have any questions, or text my Google Voice number. I'll be available. And then if you do not have this paper, if you need it, here is the Word document for the cell transport note. So you just click it and then make your own document, and then you'll submit pictures up here. So then once you're done with that, the last thing that I want you to do is go back to the agenda and do this exit ticket. It's 2 questions. One is multiple choice, the other one is open-ended. And you'll answer these once you are done with your cell transport Bistro. Okay? If you have any questions, just let me know. I do expect y'all to do this, so try your best. And I will see y'all on Thursday. Bye.